Hey everyone, Paul Johnson from Waconia, Minnesota in the Laughing Trail Fly Tying Club. Today I'm going to be tying my Parachute BWO olive. This is tied on a size 16 emerger hook. This is actually an Umpqua 201 and a size 16. For a tail I got some mayfly brown Zelon, or a shuck if you want to call it that. The body is olive sexy floss from the Montana Fly Company. The post is white Congo hair. The collar is done hackle, and then I've got some bluing olive dubbing for the thorax. So let's get started here. Get the hook into my vise. For tying thread today, I'm going to be using 14-aught olive. I'm going to start it at about the 2/3 point. And the front part of that is where my parachute is going to get tied in. So just kind of keep that open and keep that spot in mind. Got a length of Zelon. This is that mayfly brown Zelon. Tie that in, and as I wrap that back, I just want to make sure that that stays right on top of the hook shank. I don't want it to twist around with my tying thread. Bring my thread back up to the front. Come in and I'll clip off in the front, and then I'm going to cut this about a not quite a hook gap in length. Up at the front, I'm going to tie in that stretchy floss, capture it in with my tying thread, and then as I wrap back, I'm going to keep that under tension. Bring my thread back up to the front, and now in even spaced wraps, or touching turns actually, I'll wrap that forward. Again, when I wrap this forward, I'm tying it in under tension. So I'm pulling pretty tight on it as I'm wrapping it forward. And that's going to give me a nice smooth body. You certainly could just use tying thread, or if you were really good with dubbing and just get a really thin coating of dubbing on there, that would be fine too. All right. So now we'll secure that. And then I can cut off that excess. Got a small clump of that Congo hair. I'm going to tie that in right on top of my hook shank. I'm going to make 3 wraps, one direction, and then come back and get 3 wraps in the other direction, kind of X wraps. Okay, now I'm going to create a thread dam in the front. Now I'm going to drop my thread to the back of the post. I'm going to pull the post up with my right hand. I'll switch it to the left hand and then make wraps of tying thread around that post. Kind of give that post just a little bit of a twist as I come around. Kind of combines both of those tag ends of the hair, or the Congo hair. All right. Now, in the front, I'm going to take my hackle, tie it in right in front of the post. And I'm going to bring it up and tie it to the post with the curved side facing in to the post itself. Bring it back down, the tying thread back down, and just a little bit of dubbing. I'm just going to paint the thread with that just to give it a little bit of color. Create the thorax of the fly with that dubbing. I want my thread to end up on the back side of my hook below the post. Now I'm going to make 3.5 turns of hackle. And as I wrap those, I'm wrapping it down from top to the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to take my tying thread. I'm going to go on top of the hackle around the post. I'm going to come underneath the hackle around the post. And then on the far side of the hook, I'm going to bring it under and get right behind the eye of the hook. I'm going to come in and put a couple half-hitch knots. You could do a whip finish, whatever you like. Another good option would be Put just a dab of super glue on your tying thread and make that other wrap, and that would hold it in place. Some people like to whip finish around the post. I don't like that as much because I think it traps too many of the hackle fibers down. And then lastly, I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut the post off about a hook gap in length. So there's my Parachute Blue Wing Olive. Favorite story with this fly, I was up on somewhere on Slough Creek in Yellowstone Park watching cutthroat trout come up and feed, and I made a cast, had a nice drift, pretty slow water, had a big cutthroat come up from the bottom, take a good look at the fly, come around and eat it, and of course I pulled it right out of the fish's mouth and missed him. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions.